talk about, you know, the screen not working, the long-term functional screen. I don't know that it's the screening tool itself, because when my mom was in her 90s, had an activated POA, I was there when the screen was done. My brother-in-law's BD, I was there when the screen was done. And the people that do the screening are either incompetent or they have been trained to underscreen people purposely. I hope it's the former, they're just incompetent, but I don't know. But they would come in and they would ask a question like, can you fix your own meal? What do you think the answer was? Sure. No, I have no idea. They do not like it when family sits in. They do not want family input. They will tell you, no, this is this person's screen, you shut up. Even if the person has a guardian, they don't want to hear the guardian's opinion on how this person functions. So if you finally force them to say, you ask them, can they make a meal? Ask them to tell you how they would make a meal. And if you force them to ask that person, they can't do it. One of the questions was, can you make a mix from a box? The answer was, oh sure, I can do that. No, they can't. They said they can. Get a box, gave it to them. Can you do this? They couldn't read the directions. They couldn't follow the directions. But these people that are doing these screens put it down the way they want. They ask simplistic questions. They don't check the answers or the results. They don't want input from the family. And they come up with a final assessment that dramatically underscreens this individual's needs. And I have seen that in a couple cases that I have actually been there for. And that's what happens. That's why you get this huge reduction, because this person doesn't need any services. We just screen them, and they're practically independently functioning when they are not.
What you're saying is absolutely true. In fact, it was found as one of the issues in community health partnerships assessments, and when the Department of Health Services intervened, and in the incident that Mr. Plato was talking about in terms of finding that there were a number of people that had to be discharged because the rates weren't sufficient, they went back and they looked at how the functional screens were done, and they did find that they were not being done properly. The department does train people on how to administer the functional screen, and it does a pretty good job with certain things. I mean, it does a pretty good job with activities of daily living, which is about living in the home. But you have to do it right. And in fact, it specifies in the training that you need to talk not just to the person who may have a cognitive disability or may have dementia or other factors that lead to them not being able to answer accurately about what they can and can't do. You have to talk to what are called collateral contacts. That's the family, that's the provider, and in fact, if you had a functional screen that was done in that manner, you really should call it to the attention of the Department of Health Services, because it's not being done accurately. So, and what's ironic was some of the MCOs who were in financial trouble in the past, like Community Health Partnership, were deliberately doing what you said. They were trying to have the person score as a more capable individual, which does reduce their funding. The irony there is it also reduces the MCO's funding. So it's a short-term strategy, because it reduces funding in the current year, but their future year they're going to get less. Yeah, and there was a comment back here in terms of the question on outcomes, where you can find some. You said DRW has a family care guide that gives a pretty good example of outcomes and how to rank them. So that's an answer to that question. We can look for more resources. Well, thank you all so much for coming, and we're going to stick around if you want to have additional conversation with us, but we held you longer than we promised. So.